My name is Jennifer Petit. I'm the finance director for the town of Falmouth. I will be here, it will be 5 years in November. A couple major things that I've accomplished since I've been here is creating the financing plan for the water filtration project and the Little Pond Source Service Area, and actually implementing that. And we've just finished a comprehensive annual financial report, which is something that only 31 communities out of 351 complete every year. This is our first year. So that's another goal that I've accomplished since being here at the town of Falmouth. And the other duties that come along to it with, balanced budgets every year and things of that nature. And recommending financial policies to the Board of Selectmen. We revamped our financial policies last year. They hadn't been looked at or re-voted on since 2006. So there was a recommendation to the board, and they looked at our financial policies and voted those. So that was another big accomplishment here for the town. As everyone knows, I like to use code words, so CAFR is a Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. I do have some notes here. It's an overview of the town and the services that it provides, so you have more of a narrative, and it's financially based, so it's not your regular annual financial report that you will see that the town puts out every year. It does have a financial section, or it has several financial sections actually, and it has the audited financial statements in this report, which is extremely helpful, and it actually has a narrative to that with the management discussion and analysis, which is a preview to the financial statements that help people who read the financial statements understand it very simply, if you will, because they can get complicated. It has a statistical section, so it looks back 10 years. It looks at, the land we own, our assets. It looks at, statistics from the police department and fire department. So that's also another section. And it is on our town's website if you want to take a look at it. It has a lot of good information. I actually do have hard bound books. I've probably got about 40 of them in my office. So if you'd like a hard copy, anybody can come to Town Hall and we'd be happy to provide that and answer any questions you may have as you go through the report. So what we're working on right now, we're working on some projects, but really in June, our fiscal year ends June 30th, so we're getting ready for the end of fiscal year. We send out emails and memos to everyone, making sure that they're looking at their expenses, that they have enough money to pay their bills out of their budget. Just, a double check. We project out and make sure that, the accounting office, Vicki, Rose, and myself will look and make sure that, everything looks okay and there aren't any surprises before we close out the end of the fiscal year. When you look at our audited financial statement, it's on a modified accrual, but our actual accounting is on a cash basis. So we pay expenditures till the middle of July, and we post them as of June 30th. So there's a lot to be done because once the year end closes, it's done. We do carry over some if we have encumbrances. We look at if you have a current contract but you haven't got a bill yet, we can do that. But the rules are pretty strict with that. So we are on a cash basis. We make sure that all the money that comes in next Friday gets posted right away. We can't take money in July and then post it June 30th, even if it is June 30th. So there's a lot to be done at the end of the fiscal year just to make sure that our books are good. And then we continue with the process of balancing everything out. There's a lot of balancing that needs to be done with cash, receivables, expenditures. And then I get to look at the financial picture and see how we fared at the end of the year. When I first came to the town of Falmouth, there was a directive to the Board of Selectmen really to look at these two projects and actually incorporate a senior center into our capital financing plan. And what is a capital financing plan? Is a capital project that we would actually borrow for, and it would be excluded from Proposition 2.5. And being excluded from Proposition 2.5 means that we can raise that principal and interest over and above the regular Proposition 2.5 that we do every year for the operating budget. And in order to do that, it has to be a vote of town meeting of 2/3, and then it goes to the ballot box. So we came up with a plan it was about 4 years ago, and we looked at the Little Pond Source Service Area, and we looked at the water filtration plant, and we looked at how would we be able to make these two projects affordable. And with that, we looked at raising the water rates, and I mentioned that because we just raised the water rates last November, so people did get increase in water bills. And the reason why we did that was to pay for a portion of the water filtration plant. And also, we have betterments, 70% betterments in the Little Pond Source Service area, and we're looking at when we would apportion those benefits to the homeowners that will be benefiting to the new SOAR. And so we've had that plan is in place. We came up with a financing plan, and so where are we right now? Well, we've already bonded, when you look at the 2018 budget, we've bonded $76.5 million of that $100 million that was authorized. We're paying principal and interest on that, and it hasn't had a negative effect on the tax levy. We told voters that our tax levy wouldn't go over the allowable 2.5%, and it hasn't done that. And how have we accomplished that? We've accomplished that through we've saved some money through a debt stabilization fund. I've stored some money over there until the water rate increase came effect, and that's this year, and then the betterments will come in the next year or two. But the major way we've been able to do that is every year we pay less and less of existing debt, so our debt declines. The principal and interest declines. As you pay off the principal, the interest declines. And so within that window of opportunity, if you will, that debt drop-off, we've been able to incorporate new debt in order to pay the same amount of debt every year. And that gives us the opportunity to incorporate new projects. And so that's what we've been able to do with the Little Pond Service Area and the water filtration plant from a financing point of view. Also, we are wrapping up those projects. So we will be coming online, the water filtration plant will come online shortly, and the water will be treated, and we are wrapping up, as you know, the Little Pond Source Service areas. You could see the downtown over by Starbucks, one of my favorite places. You could tell it's all been paved over there. So you can see we're wrapping up that project. So it's been successful, those two projects, from a financing perspective and from a construction perspective. When I came to the town of Falmouth, and I came in November, so I put the budget together fairly quickly. We used the same format that had been used, and I did put in additional information into the budget, and you'll see that in the warrant every year when we go to town meeting in April. We do have a spreadsheet in the back of the warrant booklet that shows your revenues and expenditures and actually how we balance the budget, how I calculate the tax levy. There's a lot of information in the appendix of the warrant, and I mention that because it's also the town manager's budget message. So that's what happened when I came here, and we put the budget together, and every year I might add a little bit more information. But this year, when we put the budget together for fiscal year 19, the budget was going to take a whole different look. The Government Finance Officers Association has criteria. It's called GFOA criteria for a budget document, and we are looking at that criteria, and we're going to put the budget together, how it relates to that criteria. So you'll have a section on revenue with some historical information and some graphs. You'll have a whole section on the departments and an organizational chart, what their full-time equivalents are, their salary information, the goals of the department. You'll also have a debt section, and you'll have a lot more information on debt, and you'll have a capital project section. Now, we do vote the capital projects in November, but when we put the budget document together, we will have some information on capital. And so we've been providing a lot of this information, but it's in so many different areas. When we issue bonds, we have an official statement that gives you a snapshot of the community and a lot of financial information. And then we have our annual report, we have our comprehensive annual financial report, we have our audited financial statements. So we have a lot of different information, and it's in different places. So we're trying to take a lot of that, not everything, and put it together. And it will have more of a narrative, so it will be an easier read, if you will. So it's not just traditionally looking at numbers. I do want to mention, in order to put the budget document together, we did get a community compact grant, and the Lieutenant Governor had come down and presented us with that. And so I've been having assistance from the Collins Center of UMass Collins Center, and so I've been working with them to help me put the information together. So that's a really big project that we've taken on, and we're still working on it, but you won't see that until we release the budget, probably in January. That's some of the, some of the projects that we're working on. And so what do we look at in the next year? Well, it's June, and town meeting is until November, but we're sending out the memorandum this week to all department heads to update their 10-year capital plan. So we'll be reviewing that over the summer and looking at the capital needs and meeting with department heads and making an assessment of, what their needs are, what we want to fund and what we might not fund and we might put off to another year. We go through that process every year. So we'll be looking at doing that during the summer. So the capital plan will be due in August. It'll take the month to review. We'll bring it in front of the Board of Selectmen, have them take a look at it and be transmitted to the Finance Committee, and then they'll meet with department heads and make a recommendation on town meeting floor. I have your capital plan, and I also have one-time revenue as well. So there's 2 articles in the warrant. One is capital that you actually depreciate over time. That's on our financial statements. And then we have a separate warrant article that might be for one-time expense that you wouldn't depreciate. It might be for a service, dredging. That's a great example. We want to fund dredging every year. We don't put it in the operating budget. We fund it, I would say, in the capital, but you're not depreciating dredging. It's a one-time revenue source for a one-time funding, even though we do fund it every year. One of the reasons that we do that is if our free cash goes down and we're not competing for services. So if we had to decrease that one year, we're not looking at our recurring services that we give to the community. So what we vote in the fall is from the one-time revenue that fluctuates from year to year. The Board of Selectmen will vote a budget policy in September, the FY19 budget policy, and have a directive to departments on where they want to see the departmental budgets come in this year, and we'll be looking at that. So that's something that will come up in September before you know it. So that's a little bit, what we're working on. Maybe to wrap this up is that, the town of Falmouth finances are strong right now. We're stewarding our money to our reserves, but we do have things that come up that we don't expect. That's why we have reserves, and we have policies that direct us on how we would spend those reserves. So, we're always looking at things of that nature. So. But the finances right now are strong, but we do have a lot of things coming down the pike that we'll be looking at and making decisions on how to or how to not fund them. My phone number's on the website. I answer my own phone. If I don't answer it, I'm not in my office. I will call you back. I've had people come in and meet with me, so I'm very open to meeting with any members of the community if they have any questions. My email is on the website as well. You can always shoot me off an email, and I'll be happy to, always get back to everybody. And, any type of question at all, I'm always there to answer.